How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We have a couple massive events this week that I want to talk to you about. We have a company suing Tether, a pretty large company suing Tether, and we have fear in the market, and I can show you it. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. Apologize for where we're at. We're at the cottage, actually. So, don't pay attention to the dog crate or anything like that. We'll just get into the content here. If you want to trade cryptocurrency, there's a link underneath the video to Margex where you can start trading in just a few minutes. You can trade with all different forms of collateral. So for example, on this, you can trade all these different charts with Bitcoin or Caspa or USDT, and you can gain whatever collateral you want, but you can trade an easier chart like Bitcoin that has higher liquidity, that also is a little bit less volatile, but you can use all different forms of leverage from 5x to 100x. There's also a link underneath the video to WEEX, which is a platform that is giving away a pretty big airdrop right now. And if you want tickets for 2025, Bitcoin 2025 in Vegas, you can get them for about a third the price that they'll be next year at this time. And there's a discount code, MyFinancialFriend, to get an extra 10% off. Let's start here. Let me just make sure that this is still running. Okay, we are good. Let's start here. Core PPI is coming in on Tuesday, which is obviously an inflation gauge that is a leading indicator. And the reason I say that is that is the producer price index that shows what companies are paying for different goods. It's expected to come in at 0.2%. Last month it was 0%. So doesn't look like it's a really tough expectation there. CPI is expected to come in on Wednesday at 0.2%, and the previous was 0.1%. So year over year, we're still expecting 3%. If we get below that, if we get in the twos, I think it'll be very bullish. If we get too far down, it might freak out the market. So you just want like slightly better than expected, but not too bad or not too low either, because then people would be worried that maybe we're going into recession again. The Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is down at fear again. We're at 40, so we're still on the fear side instead of the greed side, but Bitcoin's moved up from 49,000 to 61,000 in about a week. That is pretty awesome. Actually, it's been like 5 days. The fact is, we're still not in a greedy time where everyone and their brother is trying to buy Bitcoin. They're going and leveraging against their house to buy Bitcoin. We're still at a time where the market's just, more scared than anything else. And of course, they look at a bunch of different metrics, but $61,000 Bitcoin at fear is pretty good, I think. The chances of Donald Trump becoming president have fallen down to 46%. That might be part of the reason that recently the market sold off along with everything else that was happening. But yeah, 46% versus Kamala Harris at 51%. This is a betting market, so I'm not making any judgments, but usually the money is right on the chances. So kind of interesting there to continue. It's important to continue to watch that, I think, because obviously Kamala Harris is not as pro-crypto as Donald Trump. And I've talked about that before. I don't have to go into it again, but apparently she just didn't meet with a bunch of the crypto natives and the people that are building businesses. She just didn't show up to the Zoom meeting, which is a bit disappointing, I'd say. Take a look at this. Celsius sues Tether, demanding $2.4 billion worth of Bitcoin. So they're getting sued for billions of dollars in Bitcoin. Now, the CEO of Tether goes on to explain what happened. And just stick with me here. It is a bit long, but I think it's important. In 2022, Tether made available USDT to some of its customers, including Celsius. Tether's arrangements with customers are very simple. Tether provides USDT to select customers who provide an over-collateralization in Bitcoin. If the price of Bitcoin, the collateral, falls below the margin call price, then the borrower needs to send more collateral. If the collateral is not sent, Tether has the right to liquidate the customer's position. In 2022, the world discovered that while almost every player in the crypto industry was lending to its customers while requiring just a pinky swear as collateral, Tether required over-collateralization, with sound assets, e.g. Bitcoin. This is part of our dedication to unparalleled risk management. In June 2022, when Bitcoin's price declined, Celsius instructed Tether to sell the Bitcoin that Tether held as collateral. Tether was able to liquidate those Bitcoin and return the excess to Celsius and disclose transparently the action at the time. Again, this shows the quality of Tether's risk management and liquidity. Now, more than 2 years later, the baseless lawsuit is trying to claim that we should have given back the Bitcoin that were sold to cover Celsius' position. There are plenty of flaws in the claimant's filing, and we're very confident in the solidity of our contract and our actions. The lawsuit will be fought till the end. It's important to set an example on behalf of the entire industry that shameless money grabs will not work. When it comes to the safety of USDT users, without doubt, our main priority and duty, Tether Group has equity of nearly $12 billion, as recently announced. Even in the most remote scenario in which the basis lawsuit gets somewhere, USDT token holders will not be impacted. We at Tether have proved our resilience uncountable number of times in recent years. Bullying never scares us. We're very confident in being able to demonstrate the correctness of our actions in court. This is really interesting. I mean, I'll have to dig in a little bit deeper on this, but the fact is Tether has made it through many market cycles. They're making billions of dollars right now a year. I think last quarter they made, what was it, $4 billion? Maybe it was the first half of the year they made $4 billion. So they have money to spend on defense. This doesn't worry me at all as a Tether holder. But I think in stablecoin, you always have to be paying attention to these things because we have seen some top stablecoins go down in the past. Again, I don't think this is a problem for USDT, but I think this kind of stuff is important to pay attention to and to keep up on. Let's look at the Bitcoin flows from yesterday. GBTC with a $77 million outflow, partially offset by the Grayscale Mini, which had a $16 million inflow. BITB with $18 million out. ARCB and HODL with $0. Wisdom Tree, let's see. Apparently, Wisdom Tree didn't even come in, but Fidelity had a $20 million outflow. Okay, Wisdom Tree had a $0 day, and IBIT had a $10 million day. So overall, a negative day, right? $10 million of inflows, negative 20, negative 18, negative 77, plus 16. So overall, a lot of money flying out, close to 100 million or something like that, 80 million coming out yesterday. Now, a little bit on some smaller cryptos, and then we'll get to just the feelings of the market right now. N64 hit a new all-time high of nearly $1 million. And I've been talking about this a little bit over the last couple days. We bought in around 0.006, I believe. I talked about it at 0.0045 maybe, right in this range. Then it just took off. Obviously a small market cap, so do your own due diligence. It's super risky, but it's done quite well. They're doing a giveaway right now too. That's really cool. You get all the games for the Nintendo 64. I think it makes sense to do something that's not time-based, but it's nostalgia-based from meme coin. So kind of cool there. Trump First Blood also a token that I have a little bit of. I think these Trump tokens, I've said this before, but one of them is going to do really well. I mean, just right off the bat, this thing pumped a lot from the fair launch. But yeah, pay attention to things like these because one of them will do well. Just know that you might have to buy like a significant number of them before you hit one big. Bitcoin dominance up at 57.5%, coming down just slightly, barely even worth even mentioning. That's come down slightly from the peak because it's very close to the peak now. But yeah, recently just been on an absolute tear. As you know, as I've said many times, my portfolio is very heavy Bitcoin, like 80%. Let's look at CoinMarketCap. Overall, in the last 24 hours, SUI is up 11% again. This thing has been a monster. I think news came out earlier this week about Grayscale and the SUI. Grayscale making a SUI trust. Wormhole's up 10%. Aptos 9%. Mantra is 8%. So overall, a pretty decent day. Should be interesting to see the CPI news that comes out this week, the PPI news, and I'm sure that there's going to be some other news too. It seems like there's so much news recently in the crypto market ever since really since I think right before Nashville. I think June and July were a little bit quiet, the beginning of parts of July. Now it seems like every few days there's some big piece of news, some new institution that's going to allow Bitcoin to be sold or pushed to their clients, some new company that's buying Bitcoin, some global event that changes the crypto landscape and changes. I mean, just last week we had the VIX hit the highest number besides COVID since 2008. I bet you in a couple months from now, you won't even really remember what it was that caused that, unless obviously it escalates. But right now, it does seem like there's just a lot of volatility. Volatility is vitality. I think that's what Michael Saylor says. But volatility is not a bug, it's a feature, and it can be used for you if you are able to buy in at opportune times, if you're able to take advantage of when other people are fearful. If you had just bought the dip, you would be up 20% right now. If you went on leverage, you could be up even more than that. I've shown this position several times, but on Margex, you can see here, up 500% on one of the positions. So it has been a good time to be a leverage trader, as long as you're not being too aggressive and you're just keeping a level head. A lot of my positions are lower leverage, but then every once in a while, when we see a key opportune time, I do something like a 20x. Let me know your thoughts though underneath the video. Let me know if you're doing anything this weekend or just relaxing. We're up at the cottage, which is great. But let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Check out some of the last videos if you want to see some really good information from Michael Saylor or Whitney Webb or Elon Musk. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.